Howdy folks, it's One of Nine here from One of Nine TV and World of Tanks Tips and Tricks.com. So today I am bringing you a Cliffs Map Strats video, and this is on stratsketch.com. Amazing resource. You should all check it out if you want to make strategies for your maps. So before we get into it, there's a couple important things that you got to know about the map. You got the hill, which is this big area right here. You got the donut, and then this is kind of the dip, the bowl. It's been called so many different things in all the different clans I've been in, so I didn't like. But basically, it's right below the donut. I personally call it the dip. That's just my opinion. And then you got this big area on the other side of the mountain. I didn't know anything concise to call it, so it's just the other side of the mountain. I don't know. I don't know what else to call it. So, all right. So, what are these big areas that you need to be worried about? So, one of the big areas you got is the other side of the mountain, right here. This is a huge area to control if you can use this to flank, because it's really hard to break straight through the middle, or either this way or that way. It's really hard to break straight through the middle. So you can use this to flank to break down, and then work your way up to shoot the tanks that are hiding in the back before going on to take the cap, killing everything that's down here. Another important spot is the middle of the map right here. So you can use this to control all of this area here. And vice versa, from the other side you can control all this area here, as well as shooting down to about here. If these tanks are playing it smart, you won't see them. At least from here. Another important area is the perches at the back. That's where your TDs typically sit. They shoot down to here, and they basically provide big cover fire. But again, if you are sitting in the back like this, if the battle moves, you have to move with it. That is the number one mistake I see tank destroyer players making, is they don't move. They just think, I'm a tank destroyer, I sit in the back and I don't move. And that's not how it works. If you're a tank destroyer, you get your shots in the beginning of the game from a position of safety, and then you move your way forward as the battle progresses, or you stay put if the enemy's pushing to you. But you have to make that decision, and that's the difference between an average player and a good player. Then you also have the bowl, or like the top of the bowl by the donut. And that you can shoot, you can spot anything here. You can even potentially spot the TDs that are sitting in the back from these positions right here, as well as you can get a crossfire going onto these guys here, which makes their job a lot more difficult. And finally, you have the bottom of the bowl / dip. That is played typically by your super heavies. Most of the time, they're not fast enough to get all the way around when they can't really push through the big, slow, hold down section in the middle. So they typically play down here, and it's kind of just a slugfest. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't usually play super heavies. It's not my play style, but that's normally where you would play as a super heavy. Or your casemate TDs, for example, your Jagdpans, your 100s, your E3s, your E4s, TS5s, that type of tank destroyer plays right here. So your fast mediums can go either here, or you can try and push around. Your fast heavy tanks can play either in the middle, or they can push around. Your big hold down heavy tanks, your chieftains, your crayons, you guys should be trying to dominate the ridge right at the bottom of the hill. That is where you need to be. Your snipey tank destroyers, obviously back here, back here. If you got like a 2684, you can send it around here as well. That does work to great effect. Or even right into the bowl. That works as well with a 2684 because it's fast and it's got the armor. Your light tanks, fight over the top of the hill. Try to make it to the top. If you take a hit or 2 hits or 3, as long as you've got health and you take the hill over the other light tank, that's the most important thing. Other than that, so if you have tanks sitting here, it's really hard to push. You kind of have to push a little bit on one side, a little bit on another, a little bit on one side, a little bit on another. Or if you have a really fast tank that has decent armor, like a Kampfpanzer, for example, or a 430, you can push up really fast, get under their guns, and spot them for everybody behind you to shoot. That's the easiest way to take down this position. If this side collapses, you have to fall back from here, find a different spot. If you collapse on both sides, it's over for anybody that was in that position. It is what it is. But this map is actually one of the more straightforward ones compared to a lot of the maps in the game. There's not a lot of mutually supporting positions. Everything kind of is in their own fight. Everything here fights itself. Everything here fights itself. Everything here fights itself with a little bit of support from the TDs. And everything here fights itself. But who wins those fights is how you win the game. So if you win this fight, you can get to here and you can just start shooting these guys, and eventually you will win this fight here. And it's kind of just a snowball effect on this map. But again, because you got big obstacles in the way or a big ridgeline in the way, you can't support. There's no mutually supporting positions. Basically, it's a straight fight in every spot, and it's who wins those fights. You can on this side, you can either hug the ridge or you can go all the way down. Just be wary if you go all the way down of people sitting up here shooting down, which is something you can do in a light tank that has good gun depression. Your SPGs is the one class I didn't mention. Hide in the back, either in the bushes here, 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 or here. The big areas to support are here, or if they're pushing around and your team is outnumbered here, tell them to fall back to here or here, and then you start lighting them up with your artillery. Other than that, there's not really much to say about Cliffs. It's a pretty straightforward map. So, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks, and goodbye.